What's going on, everyone? I was always one of those people that would argue that Fortnite could be considered one of the best things to happen in the gaming industry. I know that's a very bold statement to make, but essentially the main reason I believe this was how Fortnite made cross-platform play the standard in gaming. I mean, if you think about it, prior to 2017, crossplay wasn't even a thought in people's minds, let alone something that we expect in games as like a standard feature. Let me know, but the only game I could think of that advertised having crossplay back then was Rocket League. But in the early days of Rocket League, it was a PlayStation console exclusive, and crossplay was only in matchmaking. So that means you couldn't party up with friends who are on another platform and queue up for a match together. The only way you could do crossplay was just having the game match you up with somebody on a different platform, and that was it. Eventually Rocket League, Dead by Daylight, For Honor, and Halo Master Chief Collection, and pretty much all new multiplayer games released after Fortnite included crossplay. So I mentioned those games in particular because they all came out before Fortnite. These games pretty much had to implement crossplay into the game after they already released. It amazes me that these older games and developers felt that it was worth the time, money, and work hours to implement crossplay into the game. Personally, I was excited when Dead by Daylight and For Honor added crossplay. I played those games a lot on PC, and the only way I could play with my friends is if I boot up my Xbox and use an account with much less progress than my PC counterpart. I just always wanted to be able to play these games with my friends. All of this was thanks to Fortnite. Fortnite made crossplay a standard in gaming. Unfortunately, though, where there's good news, there's bad news. Fortnite also made other things standard in gaming as well, such as poorly designed battle passes in some cases, overpriced cosmetics in an in-game store, and these unnecessary free-to-play business models. I'm looking at you, Halo Infinite, and more. Fortnite was generating so much revenue that it really was a no-brainer for these other companies to copy what was successful. This isn't a new concept in the realm of business and making money. With all that said, I wanted to talk about a reason as to why Fortnite is able to generate so much revenue and why I believe their methods of making money are outdated, not friendly to the consumer, and they need to be modernized. If you're familiar with Fortnite and how it works, you'll understand by now that Fortnite uses a fear of missing out, or a FOMO, business model to make their players dish out more money into the game. I'll elaborate more on this later on. If you don't know what fear of missing out or FOMO means, what I'm referring to. But this FOMO business model also applies to the battle pass system in the game, but I want to focus more on the item shop because luckily it seems all future battle passes, starting with Season 4 of Chapter 5, are eventually going to have their cosmetics sold in the item shop about 18 months later. So this is pretty cool, especially for this upcoming season that starts tomorrow as I'm recording this, since it's Marvel themed and it for sure will contain iconic characters that players will want to be able to purchase later on when the season's long gone. This is a step in the right direction, but there are many problems with how Fortnite sells cosmetics in the item shop, so I want to further the conversation on how the item shop needs to be overhauled and needs to eliminate this fear of missing out business model. The sad thing is, though, this FOMO model probably makes Epic Games a ton of money. However, I think Fortnite is so popular in 2024 where this fear of missing out model is not necessary anymore. For those who might not know, and even for those who do, let me show you what I'm talking about. So a little context, just like many other Fortnite fans, I enjoy, and I guess you could say, collecting some of the cosmetics in the game. Particularly, I enjoy Bright Bomber and all the different variations of the character, because essentially she's like the mascot or the main character of the game. I mean, if you just look at the cover of Save the World, front and center is Ramirez, who is the character Bright Bomber is based on. And Bright Bomber is also featured in a lot of the trailers for Fortnite. So just because of that, of her being essentially like the face of the game, I always liked collecting her different skins. But like many hobbies that people have, it is very expensive to collect things, whether it's physical or digital. But that's just the reality. People get enjoyment out of that kind of thing and just enjoy having different skins in their locker that like kind of match a theme, I guess. So the problem is, if you're a Fortnite player who wants one particular cosmetic, good luck. You're going to be forced to wait until Epic Games decides for you that it's time for you to spend your money on the cosmetics you want. So this current item shop, as I'm recording, is a grand example, and it could be the reason that inspired this video. So we have the Bubble Bomber skin, which is a variation of the Bright Bomber cosmetics that I appreciate collecting. But, you know, right now, it would be really irresponsible for me to spend even more money on V-Bucks just to purchase this character. But, you know, thanks to the fear of missing out, I have no idea when this character is going to be available again. So it really puts pressure on me as a consumer to spend the money to buy the character that I want to collect. I mean, sure, maybe some people will argue that the fear of missing out is what makes collecting these cosmetics fun in the first place. Sure, I'll answer that soon. Epic Games attempted to resolve this FOMO by including the date of when the item's going to rotate out of the shop. But this is a poor attempt to alleviate the FOMO problem. The real problem is not when the item will be leaving the shop. It's when is the item going to be coming back. You know, I kind of want to drive the point home a little more about this FOMO that's going on. So, you know, I mentioned how I appreciate Ramirez and Bright Bomber and all that stuff. So I want to take a look at all of her different cosmetics. This is kind of the idea that the item shop should be, is have all the cosmetics available. But let's see, you know, this website's pretty cool. It lets us know when a skin was last seen in the shop. So let's take a look here. Of all these pretty cool cosmetics for Ramirez, which one do we want to look at? You know, how about we look at Fortune? This is a pretty cool one. So let's see. Fortune is quite the cool cosmetic for Ramirez. So let's take a look and look at the item shop appearances. So it released on July 13th, 2018. All right, here we go. So this cosmetic was last seen 93 days ago as of recording. It is currently August 15th. And the last time it had appeared before this was 500 days. Before that, 600. Look at this. There was a point where there was over 2 years before you could buy this cosmetic. And I'm telling you, there's really nothing like too special about Fortune other than that she's just a cool looking character. But if you ever wanted to get Fortune, good luck. You're going to have to wait over 2 years for her to come back. And I mean, look at this. 2,225 days ago was when this cosmetic came out. And it was in the item shop 14 different times on 13 different days. I mean, just think about that for a second. This artificial value put on these cosmetics. It's pretty annoying and needs to stop. Sometimes cosmetics never come back. You know, some will say that this is what gives these cosmetics their value, but I do not understand that at all. Do these skins really need value? I mean, you can't resell them once you buy them, so there really is no value to the skin other than flaunting to others that you were there when it was available and they weren't. This is the thought process Epic Games wants their players to continue feeling so they can continue getting away with this practice. This artificial value put on their cosmetics is gross and it needs to end. You know, sure, having some limited time cosmetics is great. Like if they're tied to like a timed event or a holiday or some kind of like exclusive crossover with a popular like brand or character. Games like Dead by Daylight have had limited time cosmetics, but there would be a clear countdown for how much time it was available, and it was clear as the reason why it was limited time. You know, there's more structure in this practice and it feels less scummy, but it still rewards players who enjoy the I have it and you can't get it mindset. A perspective to think about is for people who collect physical items like cards or figures or something. You know, this FOMO business model also applies, but it actually makes more sense. You know, think about it. If a new collectible comes out, you kind of have to buy it fast before it becomes sold out, because people are going to flip it on eBay or some kind of secondhand market, and it's going to be even harder to get your hands on it. You know, my argument against this, though, is that the cosmetics in Fortnite aren't physical. So there's never gonna be a lack of inventory, or these skins aren't ever gonna get flipped on eBay because there's no other way to get them. They're digital items that can be sold by Epic an infinite amount of times. There is no opportunity to flip the item like there is with physical collectibles. With physical things, it makes your quick, no thinking purchase of the item more worth it, because there's a risk which may lead to a reward of the value of that item going up with time. And then there's a chance that you might be able to sell it for much more than you paid for. Although, I personally dislike people who flip items. It is valid and it's not illegal to do. So it's just something to think about in comparison to the artificial value that Epic Games puts on cosmetics. I really think Fortnite should perform a 100% overhaul of the item shop. Fortnite's changing, and it is not the same experience that it once was back in chapters 1 through chapter 4. Chapter 5, in my opinion, is the biggest change Fortnite has ever had, with the introduction of new games and them really pushing custom community-made experiences. And then if you think about this crazy $1.5 billion partnership with Disney, the game is just going to continue to drastically change in the coming years. This is a great opportunity, in my opinion, for Epic Games to sit down and investigate their item shop and modernize it to become more consumer friendly. I really do think moving away from this fear of missing out model will make Epic Games lose a lot of money, but that is not a problem when you have Disney giving you $1.5 billion. And think about it, people will still continue to buy V-Bucks because there's a plethora of different things you can purchase in the game now. 3 years ago, who would have thought that you could buy cars, instruments, or jam tracks in the game? So who knows what the future holds? Here's an example that comes into my head right now with this Disney partnership. I wouldn't be surprised if you'll be able to buy movie tickets in Fortnite, and then you could watch a new movie from Disney in the game if you have one of those tickets bought. Epic Games is going to find ways to make money that doesn't require FOMO. Anyway, having all, if not a majority, of current cosmetics be available to purchase year-round is such a no-brainer move for Epic to make. I still do think they'll make a lot of money if all cosmetics were available. How many times have you been playing a game and you saw another player with a cool cosmetic and now you want to buy it? Well, in Fortnite, you can't. The only way to buy it is to either hope that it's in the item shop at that moment or download some kind of third-party item shop on your phone, like some app, to notify you when the cosmetic you want rotates back in. I think that's so ugly. Not the idea of the app. The app is cool, I guess. But the idea that you have to drop everything you're doing to boot up the game to buy something just because Epic Games decided to put it back in the item shop. I think this is not friendly for the consumer at all, but Epic Games does sure like it when people come back just because Kratos returned to the item shop. Games like Dead by Daylight, Minecraft, and I really can't believe I'm going to defend this game, but even Call of Duty allow players to purchase cosmetics at any time without the fear of something rotating out as a normal practice. Sure, there may be limited time cosmetics to purchase here and there, but the games do make it clear when something's limited time. An example that I could think of that I was a part of was the Ghostface cosmetic from Black Ops Cold War. You can't purchase that cosmetic anymore, but when it was available, it was clear to the player that it was limited time in the game because it was the Halloween season. So there was no gamble of whether or not it would return. The idea that it's never coming back does suck, but the point is you could make a decision in that moment of whether or not that purchase was worth it based on the information provided. And you did have time to save money if you really did want to buy Ghostface. If Fortnite has their cosmetics readily available, players could be more responsible with their spending. The current system promotes irresponsible spending because you never know if you'll have the opportunity to buy that cosmetic again. I think about it like this. One way to think about it is that Fortnite has a lot of kids who play the game who do not have their own money or understand the value of the dollar and what it entails to earn money from a job like adults do. Just imagine how many parents had to hear their kids scream and yell for them to buy V-Bucks just because a cosmetic is in the shop. and it might never come back for the rest of the year. I mean, if you're a good parent, you'll tell your kid to shut up and take the console away from them if they continue this behavior. However, the air quotes bad parents could be air quotes forced to buy V-Bucks just to make their kid shut up and make them happy. But then the kid's going to learn that screaming and yelling works, and they'll do it anytime a cosmetic that they slightly want is in the shop because they know they might not be able to get it again. That is an extreme example, but another extreme example is that it could also promote kids to steal their parents' credit cards to buy a ton of V-Bucks just because now they can get a cosmetic that they want. I'll have to see if I could find it. If I could find it, I'll put it on screen. But I remember seeing a story or a TikTok or something of a mom yelling at her kid because the kid spent like thousands of dollars on V-Bucks with her credit card without her authorization. And I would like to think that a reason why that happened is because the kid knew that the cosmetics might not be purchasable again. Anyway, that's another extreme example, but it's just another thing to get your brains going. So think about this. The current item shop does promote awful behavior just because you might want to buy a skin that's in the game at that moment. Fortnite should look at what Dead by Daylight has been doing for selling cosmetics in their game. I mean, the cosmetics in Dead by Daylight are still overpriced, just like in Fortnite, but they're always readily available. If a cosmetic's limited time, there's a countdown for the player to know when the item will be leaving. I've been playing Dead by Daylight for a while, and I can only think about maybe 2 to 3 times when there were ever limited time cosmetics in the game. So it is not often where there's going to be something limited time in Dead by Daylight. You could be playing DBD, face an opponent who has a cool cosmetic on, and it might inspire you to want to buy it too. And in Dead by Daylight, you could buy it whenever you want. You could be responsible and make a plan to save some money for the coming week so you can afford the cosmetic later down the line. This way, you won't be stressed out due to spending too much money on in-game cosmetics because there's always going to be an opportunity to buy them, and there's always an opportunity to be responsible with your money. I mean, I get it. I could already see people typing in the comments, Fortnite doesn't force you to buy things in the game. I mean, sure, I get it. That's true. But they want you to. They want you to buy things in the game. I'll argue that Fortnite's more fun when you buy things in the game. Playing as a default character could put a target on you and make you represented and look as if you're a noob. And, teenagers and kids play the games that are less mature. They might harass each other or bully players who have default skins. And, you might not be able to handle it, and it could really make you feel bad. Stuff like that happens in other games, but we're talking about Fortnite here. I mean, look at this clip here. Do you think this clip here would be as fun if it wasn't Kirk Hammett on the guitar, Michael Myers slapping the bass, and Spidey behind the drum kit? I mean, no. It's the cosmetics that do make the game fun and more enjoyable. That's like the charm of Fortnite, is you never really know what you're going to get when you load into a game. Okay, so if I was good at Photoshop, I would make a concept design, but I'm not. So let's use our imagination here to kind of envision an idea for a new item shop. Similar to Dead by Daylight, Fortnite has a lot of iconic characters, such as Ramirez or Jonesy or Drift. One way you can categorize these different cosmetics could be by character. For example, you can have a tab for Ramirez, and when you click her tab, it'll show you all of her cosmetics and their prices. So, there's no stress for the consumer if the item will ever return because it's always going to be there. Implement a search bar so you can search for a specific character or skin you want. And what's even cool about that is it could promote players to like the characters more. I mean, I didn't even know Ramirez was named Ramirez until, whenever. But if you categorize the shop based on the character, it would make them more front and center to the consumer. I don't know. That's just something that I kind of like. If Epic Games did want to keep this fear of missing out idea relevant, they can maybe, instead of rotating skins and emotes in and out, they can rotate different bundles in and out. Obviously, the bundles are going to bundle items together for a cheaper V-Bucks price like they do now. This can still incentivize people to purchase the bundle since it's an opportunity to save V-Bucks, To me, that seems like a better solution. I mean, I think FOMO should be eliminated completely, but if Epic Games does want to keep it, I think having bundles that rotate in and out is better than how it is set up now. You'll always still be able to buy any skin or emote you want, but the bundles could be an incentive to buy more and save more. To me, this is a huge upgrade for the item shop and the player experience. One thing that could be a problem, though, is the vast amount of cosmetics in Fortnite, and is it even possible to have all these cosmetics readily available all the time? I would have to assume yes, because the cosmetics must all be in the game right now, because otherwise you wouldn't even be able to see some of the skins on other players and vice versa. Again, going back to Dead by Daylight, but this also includes other games like Minecraft and Call of Duty. Their cosmetics are always available. So it has to be possible for the biggest and most profitable game in the world to be able to have all their cosmetics available at one time. So, I do want to look at this idea from different perspectives rather than ramble and basically say I'm right, you're wrong. I understand that there's people that do like the way the item shop is now, but I do not understand that perspective at all. I don't know why people would be against having every or most cosmetic and emote always available for purchase. This artificial value that comes from cosmetics is not something we should be defending. If you want to have this FOMO idea, the cosmetics from the battle pass should be where this FOMO value lives, since you actually have to grind to earn these bonus cosmetics and characters that are unlocked at higher levels. Obviously, unless you buy battle stars. This is where the FOMO value should be, if it even needs to exist at all. I mean, think about it. If you unlock the bonus rewards, that's great. Because if the skin debuts in the item shop 18 months after its initial battle pass, those bonus rewards aren't going to be accessible. So that adds the value of that still has that value of you had to be there for some people that I suppose some players do enjoy. I think the problem began when the community plagued Epic Games' mindset, if we go all the way back to Halloween of 2017, which is Fortnite wasn't even a year old at this time. This was the first Halloween with Fortnite. Epic Games introduced the Skull Trooper, and eventually when the Skull Trooper went away, it never came back for a long time because it was a Halloween skin. But fans who purchased the Skull Trooper that first time around were super toxic on Twitter because there were rumors that Skull Trooper was going to be coming back. I'll put something on the screen with the exact dates so we can see how much time went by. But the fact that the community was so eager to gatekeep a cosmetic is just staggering to me. But I guess that's just how gaming was at the time. The outrage of Skull Trooper comeback was so loud that it resulted in Epic Games creating some weird purple variant of the Skull Trooper only for all the OG players who bought it. So Epic Games totally must have learned the value of making some skins rare but never having them appear in the shop from, this incident. But that was in 2017, 2018. That was about 7 or 8 years ago. Times have changed and the game has changed and the community has changed. The idea of FOMO should only be for the battle pass, if it should even exist at all, and not for normal cosmetics that get sold in the item shop. I do really believe Epic Games needs to revamp the entire item shop and make it more user-friendly. We all know Fortnite's not going anywhere. It is arguably one of the most successful video games of all time, and it needs to become more user-friendly, especially when there are too many things for the player to feel pressured about purchasing when you play the game, since it is possible they'll never have the chance to get those items again. Think about it. There's the normal battle pass, and you got the festival pass, and then you got the weird Lego pass, and then you have anything that's in the cosmetic that there's a chance it'll never come back. It's just too much. Epic Games really needs to have more respect for their players and their money. It's crazy. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you, and I would love to hear what you have to say based on what I just presented to you. Let me know what you think. leave a comment and be polite. Don't attack anyone. Don't attack anyone's opinions. Let's be positive and get the conversation going, because Epic Games really needs to make some changes to the item shop to make it more consumer friendly and just more accessible. That's pretty much it. That's just really what it comes down to. Cosmetics shouldn't be artificially valued because they're taken away intentionally. I don't know. That's just me. Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe for some more gaming content. I like playing mods in games, and Fortnite has a lot of modded and custom experiences, so maybe we'll introduce some of that to the channel. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day, and thank you. Again, I'm just going to keep saying thank you. All right, goodbye.